So we've got a number of things, and I'll start off with what we're calling our data hierarchy of needs. It is a pattern after Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So everyone wants to get to analytics at the top, or machine learning, or deep learning, or whatever. But you kind of got to start at the bottom of the pyramid, right? Which is really making the data available, knowing what data you have, making it available, and then moving up the pyramid to the accessibility, and then the cleaning and the quality, which we've already covered, right? And then once you have those kind of what I'll call data fundamentals in place, you can start focusing on higher order analytics or better uses of the data. And so that enlightening moment, happened for us through the Army Leader Dashboard program as well. But one thing that, we've covered a lot of these topics here on the panel, but one thing that we haven't really delved into too much is governance around the data once you make the data accessible, right? So the data protection comes in many forms beyond just simply encrypting or providing confidentiality around the data. Donna mentioned the aging off of the data, right? And then there's the concept of conception to destruction of the data, right? People often forget that some data needs to be destroyed, right? We actually had a Defense Science Board and our Defense Innovation Board tell us, well, just keep all the data forever. Which is just, I can't even imagine what that would be like to keep every piece of data we create forever, right? Because you can't, to Jonathan's point, you can't predict its uses in the future, right? There's trapped value there you don't know, but good Lord, I mean, we've got a lot of data that we create, and not all of it, I think, should be kept forever, right? But predicting those outcomes, so we're writing the DoD data strategy right now, right? And one of the ones is fit for purpose, right? And so the guy who was writing the section is to go, what does that mean? And I'm like, well, what it means is we can't have fit-for-purpose data, right? We can't predict the future, so the data needs to be stored in a manner that Nick mentioned, right, that is useful in the future, right? And then putting a framework, a tangible and intangible framework around the data to manage and govern that information, so we know when it's created, we know when it needs to be archived or rolled off or physically destroyed or digitally destroyed, right? And then the last thing I just want to mention too, because it hasn't really come up too much, is the talent and culture component, right? Our biggest obstacle right now to data, although the quality from a technology perspective is kind of like a 50-year oversight, right? Because we made all these systems and then we forgot that we might want to integrate them in the future, or we didn't think about it at the time. But the culture around what I call data mining, which is hoarding data, right? So keeping your data for you.
Mining, you mean like me, mine?
Mining, yeah. That's
okay.
I guess that's
New
the
type
radio.
of mining.
The air quotes don't work on the radio, do they?
We had originating data sources, and now we have data mining.
Right, right.
Yeah,
so
okay.
when I was in in the CTO for the Pentagon, right? We called them server huggers. Now I'm going to call them data huggers, right? They're hugging their data and they won't let it go. They can. They have the technology to enable it. They have the interface specifications to enable it. They won't, because information is power, or whatever the reason might be. So there's that cultural barrier that we need to get beyond.
Sure.